I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be avoiding the male girlfriend phone trap. Well, it's interesting. I've got an email here from a guy, and he really got himself caught. He met a girl online, and he basically got himself into the trap of talking to this girl too much on the phone and not making dates in person. And what you got to understand about women is that because especially a beautiful woman, she's got lots of choices. And every woman has gone out with a guy who's acted like a stalker. She's gone out with a needy, insecure guy. She's gone out with the guys that are Mr. Nice Guy, the super pleasers that never get anywhere with her. And so if you want to be the guy that she hangs out and hooks up and has casual sex with, or the guy that she dates and sleeps with, or the guy that she'll date and eventually ask him to be her boyfriend, then you've got to make sure you handle being on the phone properly, because a woman who's really good at what she's doing, especially if you just met her, when she starts talking on the phone, what a lot of guys don't understand is they don't understand what creates attraction. And so what happens is they end up talking on the phone too long, or they end up becoming like her therapist or acting like the gay male girlfriend. And this guy brings up, there's a lot of good things in here that we can go over, some key points where he's going sideways, because the worst thing you can do is get into a situation where you really like a girl and you talk to her all the time, but it's like every time you try to make a date with her, she can't. She's got to check with her schedule, and she never gets back to you. And then that usually ends up causing a guy to chase and pursue. So if you haven't read my ebook yet, I highly encourage you to do that. And you can download the Amazon Kindle version of my book, and you don't have to have a Kindle device to do that. On my website, underneath the email sign-up box, there's a box that has a link that will take you right to the Amazon Kindle download page. Once you get there, on the right-hand side, there's a button you can click to download a free e-reader app for whatever electronic device that you want to read my book on. So download the free app, and once you got the app installed, complete the purchase of my book. And what's cool about it is that whether it's your smartphone or your computer or your tablet, whatever page you leave off on whatever device, it's synced across all your devices, so you never lose your place. You can highlight. It's a really great ebook system that Amazon has created. So I've got this email from this viewer. He says, "Hey, Coach, I'm a 32-year-old guy who recently met a 32-year-old woman online. We seem to have a lot in common and really clicked in our first quick message exchanges. And I don't do the whole let's talk for a while and then meet, so I asked her to meet me that week." Well, typically most women are going to want to talk on the phone first, because think about this. I mean, and it's good for you to talk to the woman on the phone first too, because you could tell a lot about the girl just by talking to her, because she might sound really great in texting, and then when you actually hear her voice, you might not like her voice, or she just sounds like she's as fucking dumb as a bag of hammers or a bag of rocks, and then you don't want to end up meeting her, and then that way you can avoid going out on a date and going, oh, God, this girl's voice is like fucking nails in the chalkboard. You know, the idea is you want to do your due diligence and pre-screen these women on the phone, as opposed to just going, oh, please meet me for a date and trying to get a date. You want to be a little bit selective, because sometimes the girls aren't going to look like their pictures, or they're not going to sound that good on the phone, or you're just not really going to feel a good vibe when you're talking to them on the phone. And so what I typically do, if you've watched or read the article that I did, The Ultimate Online Dating Profile, basically what typically happens is I don't reach out to women with online dating. The way I do it is I wait for them, just like I detail in the article, to contact me. When they contact me, I assume it's because they like me and they want to meet me. And if you follow the profile outline that I have there for you, you'll get women that are really close, if not exactly what it is that you want, contacting you on a frequent basis. And on a monthly basis, as long as you live in a decent area, you're not like in bumfuck Egypt where there's like 100 people that live in your town. As long as you live like in a normal, large metropolitan area or a major city, you should get at least 3 to 4 really good, high-quality candidates on a monthly basis who are going to be reaching out to you. And you'll look at their picture and go, wow, she looks really good. And you'll actually want to meet in person and go out on dates with. And so typically what happens, they'll send an email to you at first. And then the next thing you want to do is like, hey, great to hear from you. Let's chat on the phone for a while and maybe meet up for a drink. And then I'll send them my phone number, and usually the girl will say, great. Now, if the girl has a low self-esteem, you'll never hear from her, or she's not really that into you, she won't write back or she'll never end up calling you. But the ones that do are like, great, I'll give you a call. And then within a day or two, they'll call you. You can talk on the phone. Ideally, like 10 minutes max is all you really need to talk. And after like 8-10 minutes in, you're like, wow, you sound like a great gal. I'd love to get together for a drink. When are you free? And then she'll tell you, and then say, great, how about 123 Bob's Bar on Oak Street? And let's meet there. And she says, I'm free at 7 p.m. on Thursday. Great. If you're available, you make the definite date. And then you get off the phone and just say, text me your number in case something comes up. Otherwise, I'll just see you there. Sound good? Great. And then make sure you confirm that with her and say it to her exactly that way. Then you know you got a definite date. And then you get off the phone. If you're talking longer than 8 to 10 minutes on the phone and haven't made a date, then you're talking way too long and you're making it way harder than it needs to be. He says, so I asked her to meet me that week, and then she broke the date 10 minutes before with a claim that she was sick. And I assumed that I was blown off and wrote her off. But the next day, she sent me this touching email about how she wanted to get to know me, and she was interested, and she wanted me to call her. When I did call her, I would have just said, hey, here's my number, give me a call, because she broke the date at that point. And you're being Mr. Nice Guy, because a guy who perceives himself as a catch, I would never fuck around. If a girl breaks a date on me like this, it's like, hey, you want to chat on the phone? Great, here's my number, give me a call sometime. And even though she wants me to call her, I would have done that. And so what's happening is you're actually doing what she wants you to do. Kind of like if you've ever gone to like SeaWorld or any place and you see how they train the animals, it's kind of like she's training you to and like you're going along with this because you're trying to be a pleaser in essence. It's you're being too nice, and you're communicating weakness. This girl broke a date with you, and now she's saying, hey, give me a call. It's like she's just kind of ordering you around and dictating to you the terms of the relationship, and you're going along with it because you're trying not to offend her because you want to meet this girl, and you're thinking, oh, I got to be extra nice to her because I really like her and I don't want to fuck it up. But a guy who perceives himself as a catch is going to say, hey, this was kind of disrespectful. 10 minutes before the date, she says, I can't make it. I mean, more likely you were probably either already there or almost there. It's pretty fucking rude, to be honest with you. And so when she said that, I was like, hey, here's my, I'm really jammed up this week, but here's my number, give me a call. And that's all I would have said. And if she didn't call me, then fuck it. Because the other thing I'm starting to think is maybe she doesn't look like her pictures. Because there are women that will put pictures on some of these dating sites that aren't them because they're fat and ugly. And they think, oh, once he gets to know me, then he'll really like me. But part of the problem is you didn't talk to her on the phone first because you don't know. You might not even like the girl's voice. And now you're kind of already into this girl, and you haven't even talked to her, and you don't even know what her voice is like yet. He says, when I did call her, she told me that she'd been eagerly waiting to hear my voice all day. We talked a bit over the next few days, and every time I asked her out, she changed the subject. Well, it sounds, again, either she's fat and ugly and she's trying to dodge it, or you're being too nice and acting like her therapist. And when she dodges it, when she says, oh, I'm not sure, I'll just say, hey, great. Well, when you figure out your schedule, give me a call. We'll plan something in. And then you leave the conversation. You made the mistake of continuing to talk after that and go along with her agenda, which you're communicating that you don't really have the balls to stand up with her. And guys, in the way you're acting like a guy who doesn't get very many dates. Because a guy who is successful with women just simply isn't going to put up with this kind of BS. And that's how women separate the men from the boys, so to speak. That's how they separate the guys that they sleep with from the guys that will become their friend, their male girlfriends, or their gay male friend that they fixes their kitchen sink when it clogs up, or their toilet when it clogs up, or changes the oil in their car. He says, then she started ignoring me for days, and when I asked if anything was wrong, that's a bad way to go. Now it tells me that you're chasing her and you're continuing to act even more needy. So now you're confirming that you really don't have a spine, and women want a guy that's a challenge, and you're not acting like a challenge at all. You're like Gumby. You're pretty much going along with whatever it is that she wants. He says, she told me that she thought I was too interested in her. What'd I just say? And told me we'd never talk again. I was hurt, but I moved on. So you obviously acted needy and insecure. Tells me you probably haven't read my book yet. And I would definitely encourage you to go to my website and get download a copy of my book so you can learn the basics. Because you're making a lot of unnecessary mistakes here because you simply have a small knowledge gap. And so to get my book, underneath the email sign-up box on my website, there's a link that'll take you right to the Amazon Kindle download page. Once you get there, if you have a Kindle device, just download one of their free e-reader apps for whatever electronic device you want to read my book on. He says, 2 weeks later, she called me again, apologized profusely, and said she'd been cruel, etc. I forgave her, and we started talking again, but still, each time I asked her on a date, she changed the subject or said she had to check her calendar. That's when you just say, hey, when you figure it out, give me a call. And then next time she reaches out to you, you got to assume it's because she's checked her calendar and she wants to make a date. Hey, great to hear from you. So what'd you figure out? When are you free to get together for a drink? And instead of talking over 10 minutes and then getting around to that, I'd get right to the point. And if she gives you some, I don't know, I'm not really sure yet. It's like, great, well, I'm really jammed up right now, but figure it out and give me a call. We'll plan something. And then you get off the phone because you've already talked to her enough on the phone at this point. But the thing is you keep going along with whatever it is that she wants. He says now she's been going through a very, very rough time with going back to school, work, finances. So these are obviously all the excuses that she's giving you why she can't get together, that kind of BS. And then she got out of a long-term relationship a few months ago, blah, blah. So I kept giving her the benefit of the doubt and assuming that she just needed time. And to be honest, my support to get back on her feet. Now you're thinking like, oh, I got to be her therapist. I got to fix all of her problems. And this is how you get yourself stuck permanently in the gay male girlfriend zone. He says, she often spoke to me when she needed emotional support, and the idiot that I am, I was happy to provide it because I cared about her. You haven't even met this girl yet. It's like, come on. You're like that football player from Notre Dame. It's like, come on, dude. He says, but then a few days ago, she started completely ignoring me again, tells me you're still chasing her. You never get anywhere when you're chasing a woman. He says, when I said that we could always talk some other week if she was too stressed, busy, now he's Mr. Accommodating, nice guy therapist. Again, she decided that I was too interested and we shouldn't talk. She stuck you right, because in other words, you just reconfirmed to her what she pretty much already knew about you. That you're not very successful with women. If you're not successful with other women, then you're obviously not much of a catch, and then you're really only used to her as like male girlfriend. He says, so go figure, and then around that time, she also sorted out a lot of her stress with work and school. Yeah, you helped her figure out all of her problems while she's, meanwhile, hanging out and hooking up with some other dude and actually having sex with him. He says, I've got the sneaking suspicion that I was talking with a real vampire of a woman who only wanted to use me as a shoulder to cry on. Well, you enabled her behavior by acting the way you did. He says, it goes without saying that I'm moving on, again, and tired of her manipulations, but I also have to admit that there's a good chance she'll get in touch again, and I'd like to know if there's anything I can do. Well, you should respond to her exactly like I said. Get right to the point. Hey, when are you free to get together? Let's meet up. And she says, oh, I don't know, blah, blah. Then just say, great, when you figure it out, give me a call. I got to run. It was nice chatting with you, even though you only talked for like 2 or 3 minutes. Don't fucking talk to the phone anymore. Don't give this girl this kind of BS. Stand up to her. Be a man. If she's not willing to meet up, then just say, give me a call when you figure out your schedule. And then each time she calls you, get right to the point about making a date, and then leave the conversation if she won't make a date with you, and say, when you figure it out, give me a call. And one of two things will happen. She'll either call you and actually have a day and agree to meet and make a definite date that she keeps, or she'll stop calling. It's the best way to handle it. So if you have a question you want to ask me, go to my website, click the Contact Me tab on the left-hand side of your screen, and send me 1 to 2 paragraphs max, and just give me several weeks to get back to you with a response. The quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session. You can do that by going to my website, click the Products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. And I will talk to you soon.